the first thing I got. And then Makasasona, she made me feel so emotional that that's when I started doing that. And then someone else said something and I started doing that. And so I don't quite know where to begin. We sometimes need to think about our country in very deep ways, often do. And often when we do, our eyes are filled with moisture. Because we realize one thing that has gone desperately badly for us is the extent to which our country has been profligate with talent. We've spent so much of our time trying to defend positions rather than unleashing the full scope of the incredible talent we have in this nation. For so long, we imagined that we could manage a country and exclude 90% of its people, in which any normal distribution tells you the talent is normally distributed. So excluded 90% of your people, in other words, excluded 90% of your talent. And that's been the greatest challenge facing South Africa since 1994. How do we correct that? We've got the brains, we've got the potential, the behavior has just been so bad. And even post-1994, unfortunately, we did not do the best we could, especially with education. So that's the one thing that we need to perhaps cry about. And then we must say, after the tears have been shed, what do we do about that? And so what is this all about actually? I've listened to these wonderful speeches, all the creativity, the passion, it just comes through. What's it essentially all about? And I believe it's all about our nation and its life chances. It's about people and what nurses do for people, what the health system does, what an education system does. But really, it's fundamentally about whether South Africa can endure and whether it can flourish. Can it actually overcome all of the difficulties that it was born out of? And does it have within itself the wit and the courage and the skill to stare the new challenges in the face and say, we will contest with you. And we have the people to do it, and we're going to make it possible for those people to do it. That's what it's all about. A little while ago, we had an interesting set of conversations about universities as anchor institutions, important institutions that are there. They're institutionalized. They don't go away. What do they mean for a community? What do they mean for a country? The same can be said of hospitals and schools. They are anchor institutions. What do we do with them? What do they look like now? How are they supporting the development of the country? And what must we do to make it possible for them to do just that? And so out of that conversation came a wonderful insight from the CEO of the Kresge Foundation. He said, it would seem to me that what you have not yet developed in South Africa is a university system. You've got universities, but you don't have a university system. We don't have those 23 organizations thinking as one about this country and its challenges. If we had, can you imagine the power of our messages with respect to HIV and AIDS? They would have gone to our leadership. They would not have had the space to equivocate. They would have been forced by just the sheer weight of the intellectual force of those institutions to concede quickly at the question of the virus and the ways to deal with it. And we universities let our country down by being silent or by playing on the periphery and the edges and not getting right into the middle. But things have loosened up now. They loosened up. So there are opportunities now, and universities can, I suppose, in a way, deal with the I wouldn't like to say cowardice, but our lack of courage in the past, and occupy this space now, and speak and think and act like a system, and make sure that the best knowledge is available to this entire country. And we must speak truth consistently. Our school system is in tatters, and the universities must say so. Our teachers are not, as a consequence of a whole list of challenges, but particularly the absence of leadership. They are not really on top of the game. They are not really supporting South Africa and its development with passion. Universities must say that. They must call the SATUs to order, and the COSASs to order, and the youth leagues to order, and say, stop this now. Our country needs to go onto a new path, and we are the ones who are going to model that path for you. When I think about this, I think of this incredible passage from Julius Caesar, and I think it's so apt for this time. You know it. There is a tide in the affairs of women, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound up in shallows and in miseries. There's a tide in the affairs. Only once or twice in the life of a nation does it find itself in this position where it must now make a desperate move in one way or the other. And if it doesn't make it, all the voyages of their life is bound up in shallows and in misery. And we have another opportunity now. We got a great start. Tutu and Mandela and the legacy of Sobukwe and all. They put a great start for us. And then we began to falter. We have another opportunity now, and we may not let this go. So this collaboration here, this organization comes at a very opportune moment. And these who have been lucky enough to be part of this family of INETSA grantees, and those who will be given seed money to continue to operate within this family, have a very, very important role to play with respect to bringing to our nation a sense of what it is when a university system puts its mind to looking at a nation's challenges. Now, I didn't write that on any of these papers. That went in another direction, unfortunately. So, I've been given the wonderful task of giving expression to a favorite saying of my father's. These ancestors of ours were incredible people, you know. Incredible people. And we make the mistake of contrasting or putting into a contest their knowledge, the traditional knowledge, with the modern scientific knowledge. And we often say it's one or the other. It can't be. There's so much to be treasured within our traditions and so much that has to be embraced in our sciences. And we need our leadership consistently to show us that we can be comfortable in both those worlds. But my father told me, and it stayed with me, it's almost shaped the way I think about my life and about my role in education. He said, be careful how you chill one earnest sentiment of enthusiasm. Where you find it, nurture it, hold it, love it, let it grow. 8 of you participated. 8 was it? 7, 8? 5 of you? 4? What's the number? 4 of you were called up here. You marched up proudly. I saw the spring in your step. And all the excitement of the wonder of this new possibility. And you were awarded the prize, if you like, from Atlantic Philanthropies through the work of Inetelo to go and do magic for South Africa over the next 4 years and come out of all of that with a strengthened notion of what a system can do. But be careful how you chill one earnest sentiment of enthusiasm. There were others too who participated. And they're here tonight, and we want to say to them also, well done. You didn't come up when first called. You didn't have quite that step. But there is a triple that you can make as you walk up to the podium to come and receive your award as for seed funding and the certificate that goes with us. And my first call, the first of those, it's School of Nursing of the Northwest University, Dr. Christa van der Walt. Next, the School of Nursing, the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Head of School of Nursing, Professor Busisiwe Bengo. And last, with some ambivalence, I must say, Department of Nursing, University of Stellenbosch, the Executive Head and the Professor at the University of the Western Cape, Professor Cheryl Nicodem.